Hi, another Mrs. H Psychology. This is on attachment topic, paper 1, and this is specifically on the role of father. So what I've listed here are the references, the textbooks that we use. So let's get started. Okay, summer 19, we had questions on the role of father in the AS and the A-level paper. So 2 questions on the A-level, which you can see on your screen, and 1 on the AS. So you can just pause the screen and have a look at those, and we'll give some answers at the end. So be thinking about this as you go through. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to tackle these different topic areas. Okay, so we're looking at the type of play, factors affecting, economic implications, socially sensitive topic, primary versus secondary attachments, and whether we've got multiple attachments or monotropy. Okay, so father's attachment with infant. Let's have a look. So what I've done is just summarize some research. Okay, so there's lots of different research you could refer to, but I've just made it very concise. And the first one is the role different? So does their role have a different purpose? Is it part of multiple attachment, for example? So often research shows fathers take on a more playful activity than nurturing. So this suggests that they play a very different role, a very separate role to mothers. Okay, so in other words, that their role is to be stimulating and to play. So Geiger found dad's play is more pleasurable and exciting than mum's, and Lamb found that children want dad when they're in when they're in a positive emotional state, but mum when they need comfort. Okay, so therefore the second one, can father be the primary caregiver, or is it always going to be a secondary role? So Schaefer and Emerson found 65% of children in their study attached to their mum first, and at that time only 3% attached to dad. Eventually 75% of the children in Schaefer and Emerson's research showed that children formed good secondary attachments with their dads. So in other words, they showed separation anxiety when their dad walked away. However, other research shows that they can take on that primary care role when needed. So for example, Field filmed 4 months old and found that when dad was the primary carer, he spent more time smiling, imitating and holding infants than the secondary caregiver fathers. So what about single dad families? Does this mean they can't fill the role, or do children with only one parent miss out on different roles? So McCallum found children growing up in single or same-sex families don't develop any differently, and that suggests that the secondary role is not needed, it's just an extra. So therefore we question, why do we find a separate role? Are there biological reasons? So things like more estrogen, oxytocin, causing more nurturing, or are there other factors just like economic factors or stereotypes? So for example, stereotypes of what father and mother roles should be, i.e. father is playful or strict or mother is nurturing, may cause observer bias. So we may have those existing stereotypes, and therefore it's difficult to be objective in research. And of course we've got economic causes, economic implications. So paternity leave in the UK is still only 2 weeks at minimal pay level compared to mothers, which you've got there. So this financial situation would limit most fathers to prevent them from being able to take on that main caregiver role for those first few months. And obviously any changes to policy are going to have economic implications on that. Evidence, people like Field suggest that it's actually the caregiver responsiveness that's important, not the gender of the parent. There are also factors affecting the attachments with fathers. So for example, Manlove found that fathers are less likely to be involved with their infant if the infant has a difficult temperament. And straight from Hodder, you've got other factors here, factors affecting the father's attachment bond with the child. So I would say you don't need all of these, but just have a look and perhaps pick one or two maximum. Then we go on to problems with the research. For a start, it's a socially sensitive topic. So Grossman's longitudinal study found the quality of attachment of fathers with their teenager was less important than the quality of attachment with the mother at that age. And that suggests that dad's attachment was less important for long-term emotional development. Well, this is controversial stuff, and obviously it's going to have an impact on people in terms of their beliefs about their attachments, and we need to be very careful about the message that's being sent because it is socially sensitive. Research is mixed. Some looks at father as primary caregiver and some as dad as secondary caregiver. So we can't really be comparing these results. And obviously that means that the reliability, the replication reliability is questionable. And it also means psychologists are really unclear really on the dad's role and whether it's a primary role, secondary, necessary, extra, etc., etc. Obviously practical implications. If the father can take the primary role, that has also economic implications. It means mums can go back to work more securely without fear of being blamed for being a poor mother, because there is somebody who can step in. Also, it shows that others who are sensitive in their responsiveness can step into both roles. You know, if we have good quality childcare, that means both parents can get back into the economic workplace. Okay, so that then takes us on to these questions. Here's the A-level paper, and the question was outline findings from research into the role of father in attachment. So pause the screen, have a look at what was in the mark scheme from summer 19. Going on, there's the other question from the A-level paper. Explain economic implications. And this is what they had in the mark scheme. And now I'm going to move on to the AS. So just pause the screen, have a look at that. There's a reminder of the AS question from summer 19, so question 7, with reference to the conversation provided. Briefly discuss what research has shown about the role of father, referring to this. So it's an application question, and I'll show you the mark scheme. Okay, so there's the mark scheme, so you can have a look at what they would put in. And that's it. So it's not a huge topic, but obviously it is very significant. It's really a really important topic, and you've got everything you need very concisely linked and edited here, really summarized here. Okay.